forgot to send a reminder out. So I need to get on YouTube and share that. Share the show. So let me do that real quick, link. Yep, there we are. We are live. Let me share this real quick.
Oh, and the worst thing to ever happen to AEW was CM Punk winning the belt this past weekend.
I agree. I totally agree.
I hated that. And I couldn't help but think back, I think it was the week leading up to it, or maybe a couple weeks leading up to it, that there was a promo that was airing, where they talked to various people. And one of the people was CM Punk. And he said, "Put this bitch on my back and carry it to the promised land." And I'm thinking, dog, we don't need your ass to carry us anywhere.
Nope.
Mr. Oh, I love wrestling so much. Here, let me quit. Try to become an MMA fighter and fail. And then try to see if I can come back to wrestling somewhere. And Tony Khan is just like, oh, yeah.
Here's some money.
I'm like, oh, whatever, Tony. And I don't know if did you watch Dynamite this week? Do you watch it?
I caught MJF's.
You did hear that?
Yes, I watched the whole thing.
Dude was right on the money, man. I had just read an article a day or two ago about that, and what he said is real. Now, whether he's that mad about it or not, I don't know.
Right,
but a lot of what he said is real, and it had come out recently that he and Tony Khan did have some beef going between them. They were having some heat for those things that he said.
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
And
but it's his pipe bomb, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, but
it was appropriate that it happened when it happened too.
Oh, dog, yeah. You got pissed that they wrote that you got your ass whooped, and that just kind of set it off.
Yep,
it's like, well, I could see that. I
was a big fan of that. Yeah, I've liked him somewhat, and I've just not watched a ton of his stuff, but the stuff I have watched has been okay. I've not actually seen him wrestle too much. I've seen a lot of his promos and stuff like that, but I hadn't seen a lot of him his matches. But yeah, that definitely got my interest. I was like, oh, maybe I need to be watching this a little more, so I can make sure I can catch up to what's going on. So yeah, but Wednesdays, it should be easy for me to watch. I just don't do it. I need to watch some good wrestling, so I guess that'll be my thing. And I saw Miro came back finally.
Yes.
So I like Miro.
And unfortunately, it had to be against Johnny.
Right, but
I want him to sign Johnny something fierce, but
maybe one of these days.
Well, I want him to sign him and Taya both, but
okay.
I think she just. Sorry, I got something that I can't find.
It's some of that beard hair.
Yeah, really. I think somebody's already sunk their talons into Taya, or she's close to signing with somebody. I forget what it was I read. And then somebody told me on Twitter that one of the big Josie organizations is looking at Ty Conti really hard.
So cool. That's good.
That could be where she goes, just to take some of this heat off of her and Sammy for a little while.
Yeah.
He said, or somebody said, Paul Tessner said, well, all you have to do, they'll just take her off of TV for a month. And I'm like,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I don't think a month will be enough, but maybe that's, I think that the writing really has ruined her. The only way that you'll get away with it is another generation coming in.
Right.
And that'll just be too long, for her to wait around. So it's like, yeah, you screwed her over pretty good. So just, when her contract's up, just let her go, because you can't use her now.
We're talking AEW for those of you who are coming in and
yes,
checking this out.
So, yeah. Well, actually, I'm. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's the Usagi, and I told Chris it says Usagi on the back too, I guess, so that as you walk by people, if they don't know what this is,
Yeah, they're like, turn around.
check
And,
out your
what the
ass
heck?
and see
Yeah.
that it says, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I,
What's going on,
hey, Doug?
Doug? So, well, just all of a sudden forgot what I was going to say. No, Hyper Potato, were you in the chat on the Drink and Draw Live with Jeff Johnson and everybody the other night? Or was it last night? Was it last night? Time is moving weird for me because I saw someone and I thought I saw a Hyper Potato using or somebody using that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's my name.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, so all right, you ready to get to going? I was early, but my kids wouldn't let me here, so I gave.
Yes.
I do enjoy. I don't jump into the drink and draw all the time. Lately, I've just not had the time to do it when they are on, or I've come home and just like I'm exhausted, so I just sort of pass out on the couch, which is unfortunately something I do all the time now because I'm old.
Yeah.
But that and
It's
yeah,
an
just
age-related syndrome.
Sure, we'll just call it that way.
Yeah.
It's an energy shortage that I have.
Oh,
So, yes, yes.
yeah. Due to COVID and Shanghai not being open,
All the
and
things that I haven't had yet. So yeah.
yeah, the $8 a gallon gasoline, and yeah, all those things.
All right, so let's go ahead and get the show going because I want to talk about something really dumb at the beginning of the show.
Okay. Yes.
So
Yes.
it's going to be a Chris rant. So I really want to have that on the show. It's going to be dumb. So just bear with me. So, all right. It's gonna be so dumb.
I'm excited now. I'm hyped.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'm really. It's dumb. So, all right. In 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to Boom Addiction. This is episode, even though my notes say 39, it's actually
40.
episode 40. Sorry about that.
Yep.
I got my notes
Bad
wrong.
notes. Bad notes.
Sorry about that. I'll have to fix that in the YouTube after the fact. Yes, episode 40. I'm forgetful Chris, and with me as always is Ed. Ed, that's your name. That's your name. See, forgetful. See that I was trying to continue the thing, and
Usagi.
Usagi is what I probably should have said.
That's yeah. Hi everybody, by the way.
Yes, I like being dumb. For those of you who are not watching us on YouTube or listening to the show, I said I was going to do something dumb here at the beginning of the show. So here we are. We're going to talk about something dumb, and Hyper Potato likes to be dumb as well. It's the best thing ever.
We're all going to be dumb together. So
this is a boom related something or another.
Okay.
So if you follow me on Twitter, you know, maybe you don't know, maybe you just don't pay attention to me that much, and that's fine. That's not what I'm here to complain about. I could care less. Yeah, I could care less. I mean, I really do appreciate those that, see stuff and comment. All that's cool. I love conversation on Twitter. But so last night, yesterday was Wednesday, new comics and everything like that. Short week for Boom, which you'll find out later in this episode. Only 3 books we're going to be talking about, as well as a lot of other stuff, but just 3 new releases. So one of the books that did come out was the second print of Grimm #1. So this
you got a second print cover.
I got a second print cover.
That looks suspiciously like one of the other covers. Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll just kind of. I think the Grimm logo. I think this is a different color, maybe.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because the third print is a different color. So
so the second one, yeah.
So just kind of kick it. Anyway,
you're right.
It's a very Marvel thing to do, and I
keep the theme going. Yeah.
I was like, okay, fine. So I had, every Wednesday or Thursday, whenever I go new books or whatever at the comic shop, I always, take a picture, share it on Twitter. This is what I got, blah, 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 because I need validation.
Yes.
From strangers.
You need to flex.
Which is
what I got.
It's more the validation, but sure, we'll flex.
Oh, okay.
We'll call it that way too. So anyway, so I posted that and had a couple of people comment. Well, it was great, whatever. So this morning, I get to work and I look at my phone and old friend of the show, Mike Smith, former co-host of the Image Addiction podcast, That was a long time ago. He made some comment about, oh, glad you got it, or something to that effect. That book is like really expensive. I'm like, it just came out yesterday. How's it expensive? And I just sort of, haha, whatever. And then I went on eBay as he's sending me, no, it's like 20 or $30. And I got on there and it was like going for 20, 30, 40. I saw one for $49.99 that was sold. These weren't posted prices. This is what had sold in the last 12 hours or less.
Because it was allocated.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Wow. Okay.
So, and then there's obviously you and I are in a couple of Facebook groups for different boom related stuff. And I was misled on a few of those that we were actually going to talk about the books and those things. We technically are talking about the books, just the physical thing, and all the variant covers and how many can you get. So that annoys me a little bit. But somebody asked about the print run. I'm like, oh, who knows what Boom knows what the print run is, but they're not going to tell you what the print run is. That we just know it's allocated. So they were guessing it was like 4,000 copies or whatever like that. And I'm like, you're part of the problem. You're the ones that are just speculating, like to the nth degree, to
Like if
push.
you just look a couple pictures back, you see the dude that got 8 copies, and then below him is the dude that got 7 copies of 4 different issues, and it's like, well, yeah. Okay.
Which sort of is what prompted my tweet. Sometime today was about, if I owned a comic shop, I would only let new people get 1 copy. Charlie was trying to have fun with me, which is why he kept egging me. I totally knew what he was doing. I just sort of fed into it. But yeah, it's like speculators are causing these books like to go up in value, an artificial value. The book is good. We talked about the first issue when it came out.
It's a comic book.
But it's a comic book. Exactly.
Let's
keep it in perspective.
Yeah, please. It's a comic book. And the shops are very much a part of that problem.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because they could employ things like you said, but no, they want the money for the books, which I can't.
Oh yeah, they're trying to recoup their money.
But like you said, no, if they pre-order it, that's fine.
Oh sure.
But you're not going to walk into my shop and scoop up 8 of my 10 copies or all of my copies.
Right.
No, that's not how it works. That's not why I buy the books.
Right. Or that shouldn't be why you buy the books.
Well, I know I don't need you, that I will sell those copies. That's why I got that many copies.
Right.
So don't try to tell me, well, I'm doing you a favor, but no, I don't need your favor. I appreciate it. Go on.
My intent for a comic shop, if I ever own one, and even I've helped run 2 in my early years, and the intent of everyone but the owner of one of them was to not just sell the comics. Selling the comics is great. It's what pays the bills. But return customers are what really pay the bills long term. And so I want to be able to sell as many copies of a single copy to as many new people as possible, so that those people, I'd much rather have 10 people return on 15 books that I sold than having one guy maybe return who bought all 15.
Right. You want as wide a customer base as you can maintain.
Yeah.
You don't want one person to come in and buy all of your books, because that's just too unreliable.
Right.
But if you have 15 books and you have 15 people each come in and get one, well, you might lose 1 or 2 or whatever.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's never gonna be 100% retention, but even if it's 25% retention, that's more people than you had before.
Every month. And it won't just be that book. It'll be that one and another one, and then it'll be 2 more after that, and then it'll be, what. Yeah. And you see a lot of people talk about the impact that certain purchasing habits and certain promotional habits had on the comic book industry in the 90s.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And Why are those same words not said about what's going on now?
Mhm.
Because it is the exact same thing.
Because the
Exactly.
volume is much less. The volume of and I say that me
But
guessing that that's the reason.
the
So
principle is exactly the same.
if you let's see, Hyper Potato is saying, I feel like if you pre-order, you can have as many copies as you like. Dave release books might need exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly what we're
that's
saying.
that's it exactly. And not only if if it were mine, the store, not only would it be pre-orders, but it would pre-order pay up,
Oh,
not
for sure. Yeah,
pre-order pickup. You
yeah,
know, it'd be a true pre-order, not
yeah.
uh, a promise order, or whatever you want to call the typical method of
Right,
the I'll pay you when I come. No, you'll pay me when or in order to put in the order, you'll pay me. We'll
right,
we'll just say it that way. That's I am just the trafficker. I'm not your banker.
right.
I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm just I take your money, I buy your product, and then I give it to you when you come in. That's
yeah.
yeah.
So, unless you've got more that you want
No,
to
no,
add
I'm
to this,
I'm I'm
I
good. I
do.
could keep going, but
I
yeah,
I can too. That's why we
yeah,
got.
no.
But I didn't want to start the show negatively, but I did want to sort of end this conversation with this second printing. Is I
Wow.
forgot I pre-ordered 2 copies.
Oh,
So I ordered, and I say I forgot to order 2 because I did them from 2 different
two different.
stores.
Okay.
I have 2 pull lists. Ha! I'm outdoing all of you.
Yeah, no
So
doubt you
so
are.
I have a long-standing Boom Studios. I have a shop that I go to that I just order my Boom stuff from, and I only do it from because they're a larger. I have a local shop, like local meeting. It's like 15 minutes from my house. They're a very small shop. They would pre-order stuff, but they don't get ratio covers because they just can't order enough. So instead of trying to um, hunt down other stuff, I have the larger shop that I go to that gets my Boom stuff. They are not a chain store or anything like that. They're a local shop too, but they've been around for 30, almost 40 years.
They got it
So
figured out.
yeah, so they got it all figured out. So they get ratio covers. Some of them that they're under new ownership now. Some of the ratio covers I get for cover price. Some of them I get, for the jacked up price, fair market value price. But again, I do have that $20 limit, so not going to spend any. I did. Yeah, I spent a little more money
Mm.
on that one. Oops, excuse me.
Yep.
There's a big
So,
glare.
there we go. Oh, okay.
That's the one per store one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
How
I did
how would you even know what a fair market value for that was? I mean,
because well, yeah, yeah.
uh,
I agree.
I don't know.
I agree with you. Trust me, I agree with you. But what I want to say is, um, I had pre-ordered a copy from both places, and honestly forgot that I did that. So when I went to the larger shop, got that, I was like, oh sweet. And then I realized, oh, this weekend I'm going to the smaller shop. And the smaller shop, I get all my Marvel, DC, Image stuff. Um, they've got a copy of it for me too. And so what I'm going to do is not necessarily a contest because I hate the concept of a contest, but I'm going to give away one of these copies. But there's a condition. I'm going to give it away not to, unfortunately, not to somebody who's in the chat. So, I mean, you obviously can be a part of this, but it's anybody who's listening to the show, whether on YouTube or on the podcast. So the podcast will be up, sometime this weekend. I need you to email me at boomaddiction@gmail.com and let me know that you're interested, that you have not purchased the first issue. I've got to trust you. I'm not gonna say, well, this guy's probably lying. It's not what I'm doing. I'm trusting you. And so if you did not get a copy of the first issue, whether it's the first printing or the second printing, if you do not have the first issue at all, now keep in mind there is a third printing that's coming out in 2 weeks. So you won't miss out if you haven't picked up it at all. There is the third printing that's coming out. So if you haven't, like FOC for that was what, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So if you missed out on that, obviously, you got to keep up, with your local comic shop, and maybe they can still get you a pre-order for that. But pre-order from what they already ordered. But if you're not getting a copy, email us at boomaddiction@gmail.com and let me know. And then next episode of the show, which means next Thursday, which will be, let's see, quickly look, the 9th. So we'll be recording on the 9th. I will pick somebody on the show through one of the little random wheel spinning things. We'll see if I can get that to work here on the show on the YouTube. And we'll randomly select somebody from that list of people, and then that person will win it. No cost to you. You just give me your mail address and I'll ship it right out to you.
All right, Doug S is out. You said I already got it.
You already got it? All right. So Doug's not part of the contest. So
you are ill qualified, my sir. Ill qualified.
I assume Doug got it anyway. Doug has just great taste in comics. Yes. So but yeah, so that's what we're gonna do, or at least I'm gonna do. No, nothing on Ed.
Could be. I don't know what he's doing. I'm just along for the ride.
So that's because I just like I really feel like it's an inflated value that's just dumb,
Yeah.
But I want to make sure at least one person gets a copy. Now, if you lie to me and you turn around and sell the book for $40 on eBay, just don't tell me.
We will find you. We will find you.
But I'm definitely going to give that away.
We're good friends with this big gnarly dude named B. We send his ass after you.
So. I actually know a guy named B, and he's tall and thin.
Oh, my.
So I was like, how do you know B?
No, not Beanpole B.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
This is Boom B.
Yes, good point. All right, so let's. So anything else before we get into the rest of the stuff?
No.
So all right. So speaking of pre-orders and all that other stuff, as I look to my other screen before I share it, make sure I had the right thing. Whoops, I hit the wrong button there. I know what I'm doing. I'm a trained professional. So,
hey, I got a Kickstarter today that was 32 months late.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was one of two. No sight on the other book of that pair, but I got half of it.
Yikes.
I got one book. So,
well, at least you got one.
Yeah.
There's progress, I guess.
I was all happy and went to Kickstarter, to clear it, and then I'm like,
oh wait, there's another one.
Wait a minute, no, I'm not clearing that yet. Yeah,
I do the same thing when I get mine. I'm like, oh, I still have, golly, I probably still have 4 or 5 that are still out there. They've been out there for years.
Yeah, I think I upset one person and they refunded me, and I badgered another and then they refunded me, and so I think this was the longest late that I had. Wow, that's really late. Yes, it is, Doug, but I had one that put that to shame by almost double, and within the last 6 months finally got a refund on it.
Yeah, I the very first Kickstarter that I ever backed, and I don't want to say their name, but like I felt that it would eventually get done. I just sort of gave up on when, and I want to say it took 7 or 8 years to get it done.
And these, if I know this Kickstarter, those were active pros, right?
Yes.
I mean,
well, one of them was active.
Okay.
The rest of them were getting active.
That is is horrendous.
So, they were also, but the one active, comic creator was doing a lot of work at the time. So I was like, oh, how is he going to fit this in? Apparently it didn't. So
doesn't matter.
So
if you say you're going to do it, do it. It's not rocket science.
My suggestion is
of your word.
Have it ready before you do the Kickstarter.
Yes, that would be. Or don't even mess with Kickstarter if you're that busy.
Oh yeah,
dog, you're full. What are you doing?
Don't do it.
So anyway. Speaking of being full, FOC.
So FOC. So yes, pre-order.
No, it's full.
Full. Okay. So speaking of pre-order, FOC stuff's orders are due on June 6th, which is next Monday. Obviously, check with your shop. Make sure you know when their cutoff is. That could be Saturday or Sunday. Not a lot on FOC this week. So
it's all in boats in Shanghai.
Yep.
So they don't know when they're going to get them.
Yep. You never know. It'd be a surprise. It'd be like Christmas.
Which Shanghai just opened up this week, by the way. They just
Oh,
got
they've
out
been
from
closed
under
this whole time?
completely, totally. Like
Jeez.
stay in your apartment closed.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
been seeing that on the news.
So just this week, people actually started to be able to get out on the
Because they were
streets.
rioting.
And yeah, things getting pretty hinky over there in Shanghai.
So we have Basilisk Volume 2, trade
Yes.
paperback. So that's pretty cool. So you can get that and be ready for the 9th issue.
Hey, Chris, you know what would be cool?
What would be cool?
It would be cool if we interviewed Cullen Bunn.
It'd be super cool. Maybe I should get on that.
We should pretend that we might have the ability to do that.
I could just DM him and see.
You know, I thought about reaching out to him personally as well.
Yeah.
Saying,
We know people who know him, right? Like Valiant people.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we should do that. I'm not kidding. I think we
or if not, we know Valiant people that know the dudes that used to do the podcast with him because they're
that's
friends.
true. Yeah.
The Southern Whiskey
Mhm.
podcast, whatever that one was called. Yeah, I think we definitely know people that know that dude who is good friends with Cullen Bunn. So
maybe we should do that. That'd
that's
be
like
good.
2 degrees of separation there.
Basilisk is such a great book. It'd be great.
Very good. Yep.
Pick his brain about that. Let's see. Buffy 97. This is a one shot. It's number 1. I thought it was a miniseries, but apparently it's just a one shot. It's got a couple covers. There's an A, and a B, and a big BG variant. I guess that's
cover EBG.
Yeah,
cover
EBG. Oh, I didn't see the E there. Yes,
EBG.
it's EBG.
Oh, there you go.
A lot going on there.
Hey, bud.
Now, if you saw, I don't know if you saw
Bleeding
this or
Cool.
not. Was it Bleeding Cool that had? Okay.
That's who I saw, where I saw it, yeah.
Originally, we had Max Bemis was going to be writing this one shot. And for some reason, that's no longer the case. I don't know how long that's been known, or at least internally, because you got to write a book and draw it. So I don't think this book is going to be that different. I think just some who knows what the reason. But Jeremy Lambert is now the writer for the issue.
And I believe there was also notice of the difference in the flavor text, that when Bemis was doing it, it was TV series based, and now it is comic series based.
Oh,
as far as the end that this has with the canon.
Yeah. Okay.
That was actually a second article, I think, that I saw on Bleeding Cool like later that day.
Okay. I need to go back and read that then. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting. You don't see that happen very often.
It's not what you thought it was, or not what you think it is, or
I mean, I was sort of under the impression it might have been creative differences or just timing.
Probably just timing.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. So because I like Max Bemis, I think he does good stuff.
He was or is a TV writer?
No, he's a musician.
Or a musician. Oh,
yeah, he's a lead singer of a band called Say Anything.
Oh, okay. I don't listen to the kids' music nowadays.
Oh no, he's not new. He's been around a while. It's fine. It's okay. You don't have to. We play music 101 here at the house. So I did that today with a bunch of music, bunch of remix. I don't know. You know who Tom Morello is, right? Guitarist.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
I don't know musicians.
Tom Morello is a really talented guitarist and bassist. So he did a remake of Voodoo Child, purely instrumental. Do you know the song Voodoo Child?
I
Jimi Hendrix.
do, because it sounds familiar, but I don't know necessarily that I could pick it out. But yeah.
So it's Jimi Hendrix. It's one of my favorite Jimi Hendrix songs. So it's one of those things, when you talk about it around the house, you think people would know. So I was like, hey, look, you should listen to this cover that someone did. And as soon as, Voodoo Child has a very distinct sound when it starts, and like no one knew what it was. And I'm like, so it made me feel bad. I'm like, okay. Even Karen was like, I don't know what this song is. I was like, so. And usually she's the one that jumps in first. So yeah, there's some education that needs to happen in my house. Apparently,
I have a similar story.
Okay.
Terry and I are very big fans of the television show Dancing with the Stars.
Oh,
several years back, there was a younger pro on there that we were pretty fond of, up until the point that one of the groups that she had to dance to that week was the Eagles.
Oh no.
And she asked who were they? She'd never heard of them
Oh.
before, and we were like, right off, okay, you're out. Yeah, seriously, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you don't know who the Eagles are at all? Wow, yeah. So I'm like, okay,
Yep, never mind
that's
then.
cool. And just to put my my musical whatever in perspective, on the forums that Boom also has a board on. If at the end of the show you want to give that out, maybe some of the people here in chat can continue the chat over there.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Just another fanboy. But there's a thing that Steven has been doing where he will put a theme, and you post a video, actually a YouTube link is what we've been doing, of a song that fits whatever that theme
Nice.
is. And today's theme was a song that you know from your pre-teens. And so the
Oh,
song that I posted, now this will be a cut. It'll be up to everyone to decide how deep a cut it is. The video I posted was a song called Heaven's Just a Sin Away by the Kendalls.
it was before my time.
It was 71, I believe, is when it was released.
Yeah.
So I doubt that anybody listening, unless they're way old,
Yeah.
will know what that is. And actually, it's even in a completely separate genre than anything we've talked about. It's a genre that I don't even really like too much nowadays. But yeah, so Heaven's Just a Sin Away by the Kendalls. Yeah,
I'll have to
there you
check
go.
that out. Interesting.
Okay, so back to FOC, huh?
So we got 7 Secrets number 18. Oh no, it's that issue.
That's the final issue.
That's
isn't
the
it?
final issue.
Oh no. Okay.
Now it's on FOC, which just makes it even more real.
That's it. More real.
So cover A, cover B, and I do know they've been doing 1 in 10s or something like that, I think.
Okay.
So there's another one out there somewhere. And then you get a Something is Killing the Children bandana, which I really feel like the grin on that thing is way too small.
Too small. Yeah.
That needs to be bigger.
I mean, yeah. The whole
Although
reason
there's
for
a
the
picture.
bandana. Oh, well, that's big.
I mean, if that's really,
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. That the size on the person and the size of the printed over here, they don't match.
Well, like the bottom of it is like down here. Like at least it looks that way. It's down
okay.
here. So
So
I mean,
it's a
it's more.
huge freaking
Yeah,
bandana.
it's more than halfway down. Maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Although
it's not that I need one, but I really want one.
Well, is it worth $20 to check? I mean, because if you're wrong,
not really.
it's like $20. Besides, you can go on some of those Facebook groups you've talked about and get bandanas if you want them. People make them all the time.
And I will say for certain, if I put this lovely person's face next to mine would be a bit wider. So I don't know if it would reach. Yeah. I don't know if it'd reach in the back. So
I'd have to have extra too to make room for everything.
For all of that.
Everything I'm packing here. Yeah.
I hate it when preview images don't match up. Like, oh, for sure, it happens all the time. Keeping
Risu, the god, asked if there are other colors. Are there other colors on that?
It does not say that. It just says black, and that is a good question for each of the houses. That would be so.
I mean, if you're going to do them now, why not do all the colors you've shown?
Great idea. Oh, I'm gonna throw that out to.
We need a Something is Killing the Children ring assortment. That's what we need to do right now.
Hold on a sec. I'm gonna. I'm doing this live on the show. It's live.
Okay.
Hold on a sec. If I remembered how my programs worked on my computer.
Send a question.
I'm sending a question. I keep forgetting I'm sharing my screen. So I'm doing a cut and paste here. I have a nice little software that allows me to do that. It's not Snippet. I hate that stupid thing. That's whatever Windows has. Hey, Boom Studios. Does this come in other
Chris
house
going at the source?
colors? Would be cool. So I'm not sharing that, but it is. If you're following me on Twitter, you will see that it has been sent out with that little screenshot. So cool. Yeah. We'll find out. We'll find out because that'd be very nice. So hold on, let me close my windows here because we'll get to that in a second. So that's all FOC. Not trade paperback and 2 issues and a couple variants and a bandana. So check those things out. I would definitely recommend the Basilisk trade. If I only had one to recommend, it would be the Basilisk trade.
Yeah.
I feel like the one shot would probably be good, but because Jeremy Lambert does good work. So, but if you're not into Buffy, it just might not be your thing. But Basilisk is really good, and Seven Secrets, it's the last issue of that.
It's
series.
The last issue. It'd
be really tough to
recommend one off. It's
to jump in there. So,
by the way, it's the last one.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So let's go ahead and quickly jump. I say quickly. Let's just jump into August solicitations for Boom. I'm looking on previewsworld.com just for what they've got listed.
Can I insert real quick?
You can talk all you want, man. Just push me out of the way.
How about what books are coming out next week?
Oh, I guess we could do that
before we get to previews.
Yeah, let's do that.
Next week, they've set up the Dark Blood trade paperback. Chris and I talked about that just about every issue. I think we really enjoyed that one.
Oh, for sure.
Dune: The Waters of Canley #2.
No. I mean, we liked it. Yes, don't get me wrong. Pacing of that thing was horrible.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. You're absolutely right.
All the time jumps and everything.
Time jump, and then we were like, "There's only one issue left, and there's like 3 issues of story."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Waters of Canley, 245 covers here. A,
Yep.
B, C, D, E. Yep, and they're actually listed consecutively, so there are at least 5 we know of there.
Yep.
Firefly: Return to the Earth That Was, Volume 3 hardcover. Must be a relatively small hardcover for only $20.
I think. Let's see if it
says 4 issues.
It can't be much. Yeah.
6 issues.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, 4 issues. Wow.
4 issues. Yeah, for $20. Okay. Mighty Morphin 20 with 2, 4, 6, 8 covers on that.
Who do we appreciate? Oh, sorry.
Yes. No, you go, Doc. Take it, carry it. Let's go.
No.
And so let's see. We've got what 1, 2, 2 and 2 trades, 2 issues, and then a third issue is Orcs: The Curse, #1, 3 issues at least. 2 of which are by the creator of The Goon.
Yes.
And Hillbilly.
Oh yeah.
Something.
I forget what the Hillbilly thing is.
Albatross Studios, I think, is what he calls his production company. But The Goon, that's definitely what Eric Powell at this point I think is known for. And this is a follow-up. I don't even want to say a second volume, but it's a follow-up volume to a previous Orcs miniseries that they had. So this is some amount of continuation of that.
Yep. Before we jump to something else, Richardo asks, I know this is off topic, but if Boom could make comics for another IP, then which IP would you guys want them to do? Personally, I would like Chucky, aka Child's Play comics. So this is not a diss on anybody when I say this. I think a Chucky comic would be fun. I really do. But I see Dynamite doing that more than I see anybody else. And that comes from somebody who has read Dynamite comics since Devil's Due published them. So that should date myself.
Who's got the publishing rights to the puppet horror movie?
That's
one. It's a smaller company. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I forget. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Chucky brings that IP.
I see it in my mind, and I can't think of who it is. But yeah, as far as like Boom doing another one, I mean, I liked it when they did the Sons of Anarchy stuff. That was a really good series. So something along those lines, I think could be kind of interesting. And I only say this because of that popping in my mind when you asked that question first, and then I just saw the trailer for season 6, um, and oh gosh, my brain just went blank on the name of it. Oh my god, it was an Australian show that Ellen Barkin was. Oh my gosh, why did I blank on that show? Oh,
What was it
sh-
about?
she's got a. It's her family. I mean, she died like 2 seasons ago. But
Kingdom,
Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. Okay.
There you go. Thank you. Good lord, I
Yeah,
don't know
you're
why
welcome.
that blanked on. That would be an interesting comic book to talk about, especially the last 2 seasons. They've been showing a lot of uh, stuff in the past. So you could easily do some stuff about that. That'd be kind of neat. When I think IPs and stuff, I don't think of like, I think of just really off the wall stuff. I mean, that'd be fun to see some stuff. I think, oh gosh, what else would be interesting to see? I can't really. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, so I'm trying to think of a TV thing that would be kind of neat, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Um, I really. This is sort of a throwback thing, and I know that who is it? I think it's DC that owns the rights to it and all. But I would really like to see an ongoing Masters of the Universe series, like a
Okay.
real work going into it. I do think the books that have been coming out are real work, but the DC crossover thing, I could care less about. I just want to see like a legitimate, like, we're going to give you, you know, 24 issues or 30, whatever, however, a couple years worth of stuff, and just build this sort of, large story and whatnot. That'd be kind of fun for me. How about you?
Sitting here thinking, I've come up with 2. How about Justified?
Oh,
That would be a pretty good series.
yeah.
Or how about this one? How about a series that followed the life of Dalton before he took the job at Roadhouse?
Oh, that'd be so good.
Wait, there we go.
That's so
And
good.
each mini series could be a different stop
Yep.
on his life, and you could do 3, 4. You could do however many you want, but
Oh yeah.
we could find out how he got each of the scars,
Oh
and
yeah. That
yeah.
is. Now, even if you go back to something that like Dynamite did have the rights to do Highlander, but
Mhm.
coming back and seeing what Boom could do with that,
Yeah,
they could put
and
some really cool creative teams together.
I love Highlander, and, let me just say that they did not do it justice while they had it.
Oh no, they didn't. No.
It yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I don't know
I-
why, I don't know, but it just
that's a good question. That was a great question. Okay, so that's something I hadn't thought of. Was like, what IP would they do? And they don't do a lot of IP stuff. I mean, they do. I mean, obviously they do Buffy and they do Mighty Morphin and stuff like that.
I've got a third I wanna enter.
Oh, okay.
It's a television series called Banshee.
Oh yeah, on Cinemax.
Yeah, you remember
Yep,
that?
I remember that.
The lead dude in it is the lead dude for the good guys, well, yeah, the superheroes on The Boys. The
Oh yeah,
Amerikaner or
yeah.
Amerikanski or whatever that dude is called.
Whatever his name is, Highlander.
Yeah, Highlander.
Yeah, I like to see
Single Planet
Planet
of
of
the
the
Apes,
Apes.
Ooh,
Oh yeah,
Logan's Run.
for
Yes,
sure.
that would be a cool one. Logan's
Yep.
Run.
And you are correct. Masters of the Universe is just another name for He-Man. Yes.
Yeah. But Masters of the Universe, you could expand into those other characters
Oh, for sure.
that are underserved,
Yep.
you know?
Totally agree. Get a merman story arc.
Oh,
Just random character.
yep. Okay, so,
Yeah.
what have we got coming out in August?
Well,
August,
I
yeah.
mean, first and foremost, we have the first issue of the next arc, last arc of Wind from.
Yes.
So I'm a little. I'm a little.
Mr.
How do I put this? It's much like Seven Secrets. It's like, oh,
Oh,
I'm
well,
glad more is coming out, but I'm also like, oh,
no, wait a minute,
it's
wait a
gonna
minute.
come to an end. Or did you
Wasn't
say there was another arc
Yeah,
after
wasn't that the
this?
one that I told you that Dialinus had said that it was originally 3, but the story, needs,
Oh,
like,
maybe you're
4 or
right.
5 or maybe
Yeah,
6 series to
I
finally finish it out?
do remember you saying that now.
Yeah. So as
Oh,
they
yeah,
have been
okay.
writing it, they haven't progressed through the story as quickly as they would like. So
Yep.
there's
Oh, okay,
uh,
never mind then. Take it all
the
back.
well, but after the third, with as busy as everybody is, who knows how long it'll be until another one? But
True. Yeah,
it
very
should
true.
be longer than 3. Yes, I will predict 5 series is what we'll
Cool.
get.
That sounds good.
20 20 to 22, 23 issues total.
Now, I will say this, based off of sort of Tynan's popularity, especially now, especially with his obviously something's killing and House of Slaughter, but now the closet is out. He's got that going. How what is it? House on the Lake or something, or
Right? Yeah.
House by the Lake, so he's got a lot plus all of his Substack stuff that's going on. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the guy to check out. So they have already obviously there's gonna be a lot of covers for this. So yeah, that's whatever. I'm definitely gonna be picking up some because I have most of them for all the series. But I noticed the cover J that's already solicited is the FOC reveal. Like they're already soliciting for the FOC in previews.
Right.
So
Before the FOC.
I think don't let this sort of, even though if you've read the series or not, don't let this series be the one that sort of passes you by, because I have a strange feeling that we will already see a second printing of this first issue before the first issue hits the stands.
Okay.
I'm it just and I say that only because it's obvious how speculators are going crazy over Boom stuff. And while this is not technically a new property from that Boom is publishing, it is a
No, but
first
it's
issue.
and it's been gone a little while.
Yeah.
So
So I
all
do
the
think
all the
folks are
new
going to go nuts.
speculators will have something else to jump on.
Yep.
With 1, 2, 3, 4 covers by Greg Capullo. Wow.
Yep. Good stuff. Let's see. That win cover makes me want to try the first comic again after putting it on pause when the first shoot. You should definitely. Yeah. If you the second arc or second volume is really, really good. We
Yeah.
talked a lot about it on the show.
It
So
really switched gears, I thought, from
oh
what you
yeah.
were given with the first volume. I mean, the first volume was, just this thing, and you liked it, and
Yep.
you were excited for more. And then when the second volume broke, it's like, wait, really? Yeah,
Yep.
it was had a lot of fun with that first volume, and the
Yep.
second volume just kept it going.
And as usual, Doug having a just perfect taste in comics.
Showing that taste, man. Yeah.
There you go, Doug. We get another anniversary. Well, another special Firefly. This is their, good Lord, I can't believe it's 20th anniversary. Jeez,
Yep.
20th anniversary special. So we got a couple of covers for that. I don't know. I honestly, I haven't read a lot of these solicitations, so I don't. It's going to be several stories. Oh, 2 never before told stories from Serenity's past and future. So this will be new stuff. It's a $7.99 cover price on it for this one shot. But I've got to say, having read the end of the last volume and reading the all new Firefly that's out now, I'm really getting into this series and these characters. Again, I mean, I watched the TV show and enjoyed it, but I really enjoyed the movie. And so I don't know. It's just sort of I can't believe it's been 20 years. But so I'm looking forward to checking this out. New stuff that they've got going. Let's see. I'm Still Alive. Original graphic novel hardcover is coming out. There's we talked about this last episode, the Magic Ajani Goldmane #1.
Yeah.
Is this a standalone one shot?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's $8.99 cover price
Look
on
at
that.
that cover, man.
That's just sweet.
That dude is just bad.
And this is Ariel Avaletti that's doing the cover on it, or this particular cover A. I don't like that TBA is going to be doing the interior art. He's sort of hit or miss for me.
Yeah, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very inconsistent, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's definitely not one style that he sticks to. So yeah, so here's check out this cover too. This is the B cover.
Ooh, look at that.
That's pretty sweet. So yeah, just sort of boom, another IP, just sort of expanding the property and giving these one shot, which I think is great. Having the ongoing series and then doing like a mini series like they're doing with Hidden Planeswalker, and then doing some of these one shots that have 1, 2, or 3 stories in them. I think is a great way to sort of build the lore and everything. At
There's
least,
so many characters in the game. I mean, that you could do something like that with that, have just been mentioned, 2 or 3, a handful of cards. Basically, the creator can just do anything with it.
Yeah, it's so good.
So yeah.
Power Rangers Universe hardcover. That miniseries just ended a week or two ago. 6-issue miniseries. So that's going to release the hardcover. $25, not bad at all. We get another Power Rangers Unlimited one shot. This one is the Death Ranger. So it's a one shot for that. Something is Killing the Children, Volume 5 for the trade paperback. So if you're reading it, I know there are people out there that are reading Something is Killing in trade. I know they are, and I applaud you. Like, I don't know how you would.
No way, man. Yeah.
I don't know how
I
you're
couldn't
doing
do
it.
it. I couldn't do it.
The last issue of Alice Ever After is listed with a couple covers there. All new Firefly. We get a hardcover. For the first arc of the all new Firefly, this is Gospel According to Jane. Again, Jane's story is sort of his past and everything has sort of been the underlying story arc for these first few issues. So it's been really good. I'm kind of curious if they're going to continue to do this once they get done with this particular arc. So we'll see. I mean, it's been interesting. Angel, another issue of Basilisk. So we're at least a couple issues into that. Hopefully it'll be what's last one was 8 issues. Do you think we'll get another 8 for this arc?
I
mean, you hope so. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to say. It was paced as far as the number of issues very oddly for what books typically are nowadays. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to say what they're going to do, or excuse me, what he's going to do.
Well, yeah, for sure. Only if we could ask him.
An interview would be a good place to ask.
The last issue of Dune, The Waters of Canley. I almost said Conley for some reason. Canley. So that's coming out again. The FOC for that's already being solicited. Flavor Girls number 2 of 3. So the unfortunate part of Flavor Girls, it's only 3 issues, and so by the time we get a chance to read the first issue, the last issue will already be solicited.
Will already been solicited, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to checking it out. I don't know. I'm not really paying that much attention about what it's going to be about. So it's but it's we'll see. The Go-Go Power Rangers Deluxe Edition hardcover. I do enjoy the deluxe. I don't own any of them, but I see them on the shelf at comic shops and bookstores, and they look really, really big. Like you could hurt somebody. It is something I've always wanted to get with the Power Ranger stuff because they're hefty. They're like omnibus size. So these are good ones. Grimm, obviously, lots of Grimm going on. Do we know? Have they said what Grimm's sort of like run time is? I mean, is it a mini series?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Yeah,
if we've seen it or not, so I'm not sure. Oh. I see what you did there. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
Some people need to be put in orange jail from the way they're drooling over Death Range. So obviously, Ricardo in our chat knows a little bit about the Power Ranger fandom. We're a little outside of that, so we don't really get to see that kind of get to see that kind of reaction. But that is interesting.
But because it just doesn't surprise me. I mean,
no, it just shows that everybody's got their fans like that everywhere.
Yep.
Which is good or bad, however you want to look at it. So House of Slaughter, more issues of that. I'm trying to see what else is newish. We get another Just Beyond. Oh, this is a gift set for the Just Beyond original graphic novels from
all 4 of them together.
That'll be a good one. It's only $40 too. It's not a bad price at all. And then we got Magic, Once in Future, Mighty Morphin. We get the Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Darkness trade paperback, which is, hold on a second. Curious on what all is in that one because that was just a one shot. Oh, it's just gonna. Wow, it's only covering 2 issues. I mean, those are big issues. Don't get me wrong; those are big one shots. But we get Power Ranger Unlimited Heir to Darkness and then Edge of Darkness all in one. It's an odd way to collect it, but I mean, they make sense to be collected together, yes. But just to have the 2 of those in there, you would think that they would have something else in there. But either way. So if you've missed out on the Realist, I know the 3rd volume of that has been solicited. But you can order again the Realist original graphic novel, the first hardcover as well as the second one. So if you've missed out on those, I've read the first one. I've not read the second one yet. I do need to catch up on that one. And then, yeah, Vampire Slayer, Buffy, just in case you were curious. We only find them when they're dead. And then they've got the win trades to round out the solicitation. So if you've missed out on those first one, and I know some of those issues for the first series, I know for sure are tough to get. You can get the trade paperbacks. They're $14.99 a piece. So that's really, really good price. And there's about what 6 or 7 issues in each of those.
Mm-hmm. Usually.
So let me just double check. Oh, 1 through 5 is the first volume. And then what? I guess I felt like the second volume was a lot more issues. Doesn't say how many issues are in that one. But yeah, so 5 or 6 issues in there too. So yeah, good price. $15 for those. And get caught up, get ready for the new series, the new volume. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Anything in there that other than Wind that you're looking forward to, or highly looking forward to?
Probably Wind would be the most. I mean, the final Alice, another installment of Grimm, another installment of Basilisk. You know, a lot of these continuations that they have are interesting to me.
Yeah.
And this weekend, I have said this multiple times. This weekend, I'm going to sit down and catch up on Magic. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to look forward to Magic more as the one shots and minis and the ongoing. The ongoing's up to 17 as of this
Yep.
previews. So,
And I actually thought about what you had said about that on the way home tonight. I was just like, oh yeah, I read 15 and everything. I said, yeah. I think Ed's right. It would be a good idea to go back and catch up.
Yep. And they're not difficult reads. I mean, and this is not said maliciously, but they're not necessarily deep. They're easy on the eyes. You know, you don't spend a whole lot of time trying to suss things out because of the artwork. You know, so it's a fairly laid back read. So I don't think, 10, 15 issues of that would be all that hard once you set aside the time to sit down and do it.
Yeah. I think Jed McKay does a good job. I mean, we've talked about this a bunch of times, so I'll talk about it a little more when we get into 15 later. But has done a really good job of taking, like you said, just this vast array of characters and environments and stuff like that, and sort of picking and choosing, as necessary to tell the story and tell a good progressing story while recognizing sort of the bigger world, that he's playing in, the biggest sandbox he's playing in. So
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, fast-paced reads, good action, so good stuff. Hold on a second.
He's on mute, so I'll do it for him.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
trying not to.
Yeah,
Trying not to cough all over everybody. So,
yeah, that's okay. We're in the time of COVID. Coughing is expected.
No, actually, mine's just medication costs.
It's even encouraged, I think. So.
See, when you get old like me, you have to take medication for certain things, like my heart. And so they go, they say,
I don't hear that.
By the way, you might have coughing fits every so often. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. So it is what it is. So,
well, unlike the unfortunate side effects that our friend Stephen Orr is having with some medication that he's on.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, okay, I'll take your coughing. That's
For
cool.
sure. Yeah.
with some of the issues that he was talking about, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I know. I was catching up on his show, and I was just like, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good to go. Yeah, and that's the thing. My doctor was even like, is that getting really bad? I'm like, of all the things that I could have wrong with me, I'm okay.
When
I mean, it's awkward because of COVID and whatnot, especially because I've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years.
everybody gives you the dirty eyeball when
In the
you
grocery
cough.
store, they're just like, what the frick? Like, it's fine.
I've been coughing for years. Take it easy.
Yeah. Just as a response watch, Boom has not responded to the
Yes.
house colors for the bandana. Not that I feel that they will, but I just thought I would just sort of update everybody.
Let's hold that one and do that at
Yeah.
the end of the show to
Yeah,
give
we'll
us time
definitely
to
do
think
it then.
about that one.
Yep. Good
Yeah.
question though. All right, so I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. Talk
What are
about
we-
Sirens. Are we gonna talk about Sirens?
Okay.
Finally?
Yes. Okay. Sirens. Oh, and something that I wanted to show you here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but remember I told you in the black and white, the inked versus uninked.
Yes.
They're actually juxtaposed here.
Oh, that's so good. So, for those of you just listening on the podcast, what Ed is doing is causing everyone on the YouTube to drool because he's got George
Just
Perez
penciled over
pencils
here.
over and right next to him are the inks.
Thanks.
In the pen and ink
pencils
collected edition, which is a treasury size book. If you're unaware what the pen and inks are, we've talked about it a bunch.
Here you go. There's the regular comic, and that's which this is the original size that they draw on, right? 11 by 17,
roughly,
or even more. I mean, I guess they could go more than this, but
so you're really getting the detail.
There we go. Yeah.
So the treasury edition for this, the pen and ink, it's the first 2 issues of the series. I think those books were going for what, $14.99 or $13, something like that.
Yeah, they were just insanely inexpensive.
Yeah, so if you want to see some George Perez pencils, that is a good way to do it. It's not going to be Teen Titans or Avengers or any of that stuff, but it's going to be on the Siren series.
Yeah, I'm
more into that. So
bring that up a little bit here as we go on. Okay, yeah. So this, first of all, this is actually the last completed series by Mr. Perez before he retired. Not like the recent retirement, but just retired from actively working.
Yeah.
6 issues. It was written, illustrated, and created by him. He did the pencils and the inks for it. Was lettered by Ed Dukeshire, and it was colored the first 4 issues by Leonardo Pacioretty, and then issues 5 and 6 by Vladimir Popor. Popor, designed by Mr. Scott Newman, who was recently on an episode of the show 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Yeah, we did the classic episode. Yeah. And he brings up Sirens too. So it was being done during the time of that episode. So.
Right, yeah, at the time. 5, 10, 15, 20, 34, 37, probably 40, somewhere between 40 and 45 total covers for all the issues with store variants and things like that. Yeah. Now, they standardly did 5 covers per issue.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I remember them doing quite a few.
And then the first issue had just a bucket load of store variants, which jacked up the total numbers.
Yeah.
Let's see. September 2014 through December of 2016. So it took a little while for all 6 issues to come out. The first 3 came out in succession or on some sort of period, like maybe bi-monthly or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the others started Like 4 was a little bit longer, 5 was a little bit
Started
longer,
slowing
6
down a
was a
little
little
bit.
bit, yeah. So,
But
you,
keeping in mind, this was his last regular
right.
work. So, and
And
he was inking it too.
probably what you had was in the can
Sure.
and then working on them as
Yeah.
they came out, basically,
Mhm.
is how it turned out. So Sirens. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 women, all with superpowers, formed a group, the Legion of Super Women, if you will.
Yes.
In the year 45 and some change, 45, 34, 45, 30s, somewhere in there is the year. And they have been working together as a group, the Sirens, for a little while. But for our story, they are in the midst. Well, actually, they're not in the midst. It comes out through the course of the story. But in the year 45, we'll say 34, they are the Sirens are attempting to repel an alien invasion of Earth. They are successful, but there are some unfortunate ramifications. In repelling the alien invasion, it's made to look like the ultimate outcome of that alien invasion, which is the near total, or I guess total, but not physical, destruction of Earth. And it's made to look like it's the Sirens' fault. But it wasn't. It was due to the machinations of the aliens that they're attempting to defeat. So on the back end of the battle, the Sirens are implicated for the destruction of Earth. Over the course of the next several years, several of the Sirens are hunted down, give themselves up, are bounty hunted. Roughly half of them are killed. A plan is then hatched by the leader to disperse the others in time on Earth time, not other planets time, which where the 4500s, there are multiple intergalactic races as well in this. So it's very it's a very high science fiction concept. But the surviving Sirens are dispatched through time. That is actually where the comic book story picks up. When you open up the first issue, you start seeing some of these Sirens in their time, fully immersed in their time, whether by choice or by situation. They have thrown off any trappings of formerly having been these futuristic Sirens. They are living much more normal lives according to the era and the peoples that they are now part of. Did I say they all had superpowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in their times, they're not using those powers either. Some of them have forgotten about them. The moving through time messes with different people in different ways. So some of them have forgotten. Others have chosen to set the life aside. Some don't want to reveal anything about themselves, so they don't use their power. So there's different reasons. They're in different situations, and it's just when the story opens, it just looks like this mismatch, yeah, okay, of characters that we're following, and so immediately I remember thinking, well, what is the connection? Why are we
Right. Yeah.
looking at all of these individual? They're all, I mean, all kinds of different situations throughout different eras, and I'm like, what is the connective tissue here with all of these? Ultimately, the leader of the Sirens encounters the last, or encounters, without just completely telling all the story, she encounters a predecessor of one of the prevalent races of creatures in 4534, and is told by this predecessor who is prescient as far as the ultimate happenings of their race, what will happen to their race, when and how, and everything like that. That she, the leader of the Sirens, needs to go back because she is essentially from that time. She can save this race, and in doing so, she can perpetuate an even greater good. So, through the machinations of this encounter, she goes back from the Viking era, I believe is where she was, back to 4500, 4530 something. It's several years later now. I don't know if she has the ability to go back and forth, or if she is sent forward in time because of this encounter. I don't know if it really comes out. It doesn't necessarily need to. It's not all that
Right.
important.
Yeah.
But she goes back in time. No, she goes back to the future.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, sorry. And puts into motion gathering the remaining Sirens from their different time periods and pulling them to the current,
Mhm.
which is this 4500s. They then put into motion correcting the wrongs of the past involving themselves, the Sirens, involving the planet Earth, involving this other, shall we say, reptilian race, until at the end, which maintains from about the second or third issue throughout, you see snippets of the other times that the women are in and reasons that they're there and things like that. But we pretty much stay in the future,
Mhm.
and our story occurs in the future, moving time forward. They, by the end, everything has been explained. Everything is better. Everything is okayed. And honestly, I'll go ahead and say it now. The Sirens are cleared of any wrongdoing by the end of the story.
Right. Yep.
And that's so that's basically that's the story. They are made to look like they were the cause of the destruction of the earth. And by the end of the story, the full truth not only comes out, but reparations are made. And lots of, I thought I wrote it down because it's usually, yes, here we go. In just the first issue, there are 8 time jumps.
Oh, your favorite.
Yeah, yeah. It's now this one wasn't as difficult to keep up with as they have been in other books.
Right.
So and once you get kind of understand, which it takes like 2 or 3 of the 6 issues to where
Oh,
you're like,
yeah. I remember, yeah.
why is it? And finally it's explained, and you're like, okay, I got it. I can follow it now.
Yeah.
If they go back to it, and in one part of the story, actually, they do get sent back as part of a battle that they're fighting. They get sent back to the times that they were originally pulled from,
Mhm.
and they have to do a little bit of fighting of their nemesis then, and yeah.
Yeah.
But by that time, you understand now what's going on, and it's easier to follow.
Mhm.
But yeah, that first issue was, wow. It was
Oh, yeah.
beautiful to look at, but it was confusing as sin as to what was going on. If that's all you had to go on, it just came out. You just picked up this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want more because George Perez is going to explain it. And until he explains it to where you understand it, it's so pretty to look at.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
you're like, okay, I'm good. Now, all of that said, I will say, if you want George Perez, excuse me, in his at his creative height, this unfortunately is not that series.
Right. Yeah.
This is the art shows the age of the creator,
Mhm.
and the writing is probably along that same lines. Now you
Yeah.
can tell that this is all Perez. This is what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And I'm sure in his mind, everything is beautifully laid out.
Yeah.
I can't always say that about every issue reading it. It's but let the man do his thing,
Yep.
and get it and put it on your shelf. This is the last
Hmm.
work, essentially, by Mr. George Perez, and
Yeah.
in its way, it holds up against Wonder Woman and X-Men, not X-Men, Avengers,
Yeah.
JLA Avengers, Teen Titans. It on your shelf, all of those beautiful books will be right there.
Oh yeah.
Sirens will be there on the end because it was the last work.
Yeah.
So, worth getting, particularly now because it's collected. This is definitely something that you want to have access to all of it. I don't necessarily know that I would recommend sitting and just shotgunning the whole thing. Take a minute or two and just kind of.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
because like you said, yeah, the first couple of issues, it's a little rough to get through.
Yeah.
And remembering back to when it first came out, and I've even talked to some people online about it. And yeah, we all kind of remember it's like, yeah, it was definitely, it wasn't a slog to get through, but it was kind of like you said, it's just like, what am I reading? I know what I'm seeing, but yeah, it's like, what am I reading? Yeah, and so
Here,
once it kind of gets like, oh yeah,
Machado, this is for you, dog.
yep.
This is. Let's
That's
see.
issue number 6. Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard for me
such a
to see
well.
what I'm showing. That's
And one thing, if you didn't listen to that interview with Scott
that's the
Newman,
cover. That's
they really tried with the cover of all the issues to do something that was different from
we're
uh,
here.
what you would normally see on a Marvel or a DC book from George Perez.
There's a
So,
nice one of
yep.
headshots.
Hmm. So,
And here is one. This puts me in mind of a certain crisis story that came out.
oh yeah. Hey, there are very few people that can do those kind of action group shots.
Multiple people,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And this has got. This looks like actually this has got the full team on it, or just about.
Yeah.
About half of them die through the course of the story, and then.
Yep.
But yeah, beautiful, beautiful artwork.
Yep.
Even not, I think, in his prime, it is better than a measurable percentage of what I see coming out now.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh,
That's
almost knocked my
and
headset off.
I'm,
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not again not
It's
trying
not
to
a
take
knock on anybody.
no, not trying to take anything away from anybody that is active, but it's just birds of
It's
prey. Yeah, kind of. First of all, it's a much bigger group, right,
oh, for
than
sure.
birds of
Yeah.
prey.
Yeah.
But in kind of a way, I would be interested. I don't believe I've ever run across really any in-depth interviews about what was in George's head when he was writing this, but I would be
Right.
curious to find out why so many, like I said, 16, why were they all female? What was your, not in a mean way, but I don't know how else to say it, but what was your point of making them all female? What were
Right.
you wanting to do?
Yeah.
And there were males in it. And actually, come to think of it, I don't think there were any males on the good guy's side.
Oh,
Maybe that's what he was doing.
maybe.
The time ship and the fleet, and I think just about everybody was female. And then on the opposing side, particularly at the end, the final confrontation, no, yeah, I believe maybe just about all the men were antagonistic
Hmm.
in the story. Now that I think about it, because there was the main dude with the sword, the several of the galactic civilizations at the end were being led by men on ship or that they were reporting. Yeah, so maybe all of the men were actually antagonistic in this, I think. Okay, go figure.
That is interesting.
And I say that without necessarily even recognizing that when I was sitting and reading them,
Yeah.
just in retrospect. So, but yeah, definitely. And I have you can get the individual issues.
Oh, for sure.
They're a little touchy to come by, but they are available.
Yeah.
You may have to wait to really be able to get them all. There's a couple different collected volumes. This is the hardback, and I believe this is just the straight hardback. There's also a collector's edition hardback,
Right.
and then the pen and ink, which is just the first 2 issues. It's not the story itself. So you see the whole thing.
Yeah. So it was a little big for the camera.
Yeah. So. And soft cover, I believe the trade is available in soft cover also. So, but now, and I imagine moving forward for the next little bit, they'll be a little bit touchy to find. I figure a lot of people will be snatching them up when they become available. Kind of along the same lines as the Avengers JLA books. They're a little tough to come by right now, and yeah.
I know when we first started talking about this, looking on eBay, the prices on not a knock on the book itself, but I remember just a year or two ago seeing, those books at $2 or $3 a pop, which cover price was like $3 or whatever at the time. But seeing a lot of those things now going for on eBay 6, 7, 8, 10 variants going for $20 plus.
Oh yeah, the variants,
yeah. So yeah, just kind of depends on how you want to get. And the hardcover I think is less than $25. So
yeah, I think so. And talking about the variants, for folks that really like the variants, there are store variants that I have only ever seen in listings of variants. I have never seen them on Lone Star or on eBay, or I don't even remember seeing half of them when they came out. But then I didn't pay any attention to variants then. But so a lot of those variants are seemingly very rare.
Yeah. So, but interesting. If you want to check it out for free, I mean, I know Comixology Unlimited has it. If you got a Comixology account, they actually have it for free each issue. You can check it out that way. But yeah, I'm kind of, obviously I'm always going to lean toward having the single issues or having a collected edition on the shelf is always nice. I don't know when I don't know if I'll ever remember. Oh yeah, I've got those books. I discovered today I have some books in my Comixology account that I completely forgot I ever bought. I was just like, oh, I bought those like 10 years ago.
Chris.
It's like, oh, that's a thing. That's a thing I did. So I had the first X-Men, all new X-Men hardcover. I have that in my Comixology account. I was like, oh,
okay.
Yeah, that was one of those things. So
you must have got it when there was a good deal on it.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I got it. So actually, I think I may have been given that now that I think about it. So let's see. I'm kind of new. Richard, I'm kind of new at collecting comics, but is it common for variants for floppy styles? Yes, for sure.
It depends on how far. I mean, like your B and maybe C covers. No.
Yes.
Chances are you can find them for cover price.
Yeah.
But your ratio covers, which is your 1 in 10, 25, 50, 100, 150, 200, whatever the number. And particularly now, those, and actually the higher ones, the 1 in 10 usually isn't too bad.
No.
But it will be more than cover, yes.
Yeah.
After that, and any store variants, Richado, those will be those will be pricey enough that if that's what you want to do, you want to keep your eyes out and get those when they're first advertised.
Yes.
Don't get those off the secondary market
No.
because they become a mint very quickly, and
Mhm.
it just, and it's that same way with the ratio covers. If you can get those from like your store, you want to get them as close to the source as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to get them as close to the release
The
date as possible,
Yes.
because once once they hit fair market value, which
Oh,
means
yeah,
eBay,
that's
or
secondary market.
key
Yeah.
collector app or whatever. Once you get
Whatnot.
those folks, yeah, whatnot, yeah. Once you get those folks, and I say those folks, most of them are not trying to um put their kids through college, selling comics. They're just, flipping books and stuff. But there are groups of people that like to spike the price. I've been in those Facebook groups, and so they create the hype and then buy and sell from
And
one another
and
to
then,
overinflate it. So,
buy into, no pun
yep,
intended, or
yeah.
pun intended, buy into the hype. And
But yeah, a lot of like boom stuff specifically, and I only say that just because we can kind of speak a little more closer to it. If you notice with our FO, when we talk about FOCs, all the different uh, the cover A, B, C, like Ed was saying, those that you can find on FOC are usually the books that you'll be able to pick up for cover price.
Mhm.
A store will then get their ratio variance based off of how many books they ordered. So, and you're right. I've seen, like, I got, the 1 in 10 for Once and Future 26 for like $7. It was just
Mhm.
double cover.
Yeah,
Not even that. It wasn't even
that's
double cover. But yeah, the 1 in 10s kind of are usually pretty cheap in most books. But yeah, once you get into the 1 in 25s, and again, it really kind of depends on the publisher too. I picked up a 1 in 25 for something Marvel did for less than $10.
okay.
So, but depending, it also kind of depends on the series too. So
Right.
it's
Yeah,
very,
the popularity.
yeah, popularity and everything.
Yeah, I
So
know. About the only variants I pay any attention to are for
yeah,
Usagi Jimbo,
exactly.
and those variants are typically 1 in 10.
Yeah.
There's no B or C cover. It's an A and a ratio.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought
Those
you.
ratios
Yeah.
typically, when I order them, are $20 a piece, just
Okay.
typically. So that even that is just one variant, and it's already what, for three,
Yeah.
four times the cover price.
But
So
if it's consistent like that, you can
yes,
budget for that.
yeah,
So
that's typically what it is. You have an A, and then you have that 1 in 10. If you have a 1 in 10, like for Usagi, Stan will put out um, 10 about 10 issues a year,
mhm.
and so far IDW's been running like 8 of them with a second cover. So
Oh, okay.
even not even every single book.
Yeah.
And then you have the other books like the series that Peterson is doing the covers for.
Hmm.
It's just an A cover. That's all
Yeah.
there is. Which, I mean, you don't
I was
need
like, it's
any more.
Peterson.
Yeah, you don't need any more for his stuff. But yeah, so um, well, and actually, like today, news broke that IDW dropped a online exclusive cover for Usagi. It was only $10.
Oh, okay.
So they dropped one for him and one for um, I want to say the Ninja Turtles, maybe, but maybe it wasn't because that's kind of obvious. But maybe it
Yeah.
was. Maybe it was Usagi
It
and
probably,
Ninja
yeah,
Turtles,
it makes sense. Yeah.
uh, online only exclusive. So
I'll have to, I'll have to look for that because I've just recently gotten back collecting TMNT. So, and I've been trying to pick up because TMNT has an A and a B, and then they have a retailer incentive, which I think is a 1 in 10.
okay,
So I've been trying to pick those up too. So I'll have to check that out. So, but yeah,
okay.
it just kind of depends. Just to answer your question, it kind of depends on what exactly it is. The variant is.
Remember, keep in mind your 5 favorite boom books.
Yes, I've been
We
kind
need
of
to
thinking
keep,
about
yeah,
it.
we need to keep while we're talking, keep thinking about that.
All right, so let's jump into. Hold on, let me do. Nope, no response. Okay, just wanted to check real quick.
Check the Twitter.
Check the Twitter. There is no response. So had a couple of people like it. So that's they're like there's some interest. So
Yeah, they're like, yeah.
So we'll go ahead and start off real quick with just Magic number 15. Not a lot to say about it because Ed and I were talking before the show. I think I missed 14. So I was like, I really feel like I missed something here. Written by Jed McKay, illustrated by Ig Guerra, Jacques Solomon, and Mariano Tybo. I am
Help my
butchering
boy
these
out
names.
here.
I apologize. And then
Well,
Kath Lobo. So there's as you can see, if you look at the solicitations, and I don't have it up on the screen, but every artist probably did 5 or 6 pages. So it was a lot of sharing of the artwork going on here. But the whole book was colored by Ariana Cassoni and lettered by Ed Dukeshire and designed by Grace Park. So so yeah, like I said, this just kind of real quick, this issue definitely I felt like I was missing something, so I think I missed out on issue 14. I got to go back and double check that after the show. But this issue was more there was a flashback to 7 months ago, some events that had been happening, definitely some stuff that had been sort of hinted at of who our big villain is. It's the oh, I forgot his name. It's the dude that was the one shot. We were talking about him in
the
Hidden
Metal
Place.
Master.
Yes, the Metal
That
Master.
dude.
So-
The half robot dude.
Yeah.
That's after the necromancer in the library of the college.
That's
in the
him.
mini series, the Hidden Planeswalker.
So they're definitely building him up. Obviously, he's the big bad over all of these series and stuff like that, which I really I like the fact that we're getting that kind of thing. He's basically cut off. Is it Ravenka? Is the name of the town or the city?
Well, it's the plane.
Or it's the plane. So they've cut that
an entire plane.
Okay, so that made more sense to me now that you said it. Because what he's done is he's cut that plane off from planeswalkers being able to come to it and leave from it. So if you're a planeswalker, so that was kind of the big thing about this particular issue is it was that realization that we're stuck here, we can't go anywhere, and so they thought the big bad guy was the big metallic dragon, which I can't remember his name is off the top of my head, but they thought he was the big bad guy, and come to find out, it was Tezzeret that was impersonating that dragon. And so the thing was like, oh yeah, he really is the bad guy, and then you kind of get this sort of, oh yeah, but he's not, and then they kind of explain it. So this was sort of, I guess, set up an explanation of probably what had happened in the last issue, and sort of moving the pieces a little more forward and setting up for obviously a big conflict that's got to be coming up in the near future. So again, it's a good issue. Again, I think I didn't read the last issue, so I was a little lost as I was reading it. But again, it's still really good world building. I'm enjoying the dialogue. It is a fast read. This is not a very action packed issue. It's a lot of explanation and talking heads, which is fine, kind of how they do it, because it's not just a bunch of people just standing around. There is some sort of as they talk about what has happened, you are getting to see some of the action and everything, but it's all in flashbacks and stuff like that. So but pretty decent issue. You definitely need to get caught up on this series and really kind of dive headfirst into it. I there's something coming, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it is, now that I got past the head block of not knowing what the heck was going on with this series. So good stuff. If you've been reading Magic, I say this about a lot of series, but I would definitely love to hear from folks that are checking out this series that know a little bit more about these characters. I know Ed knows way more than I do. But Well, I do. When you know this little, if the next person knows this much, it's way more.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's relative.
It's all
Relative terms here.
But definitely reach out to us on Twitter and email us or something like that, just to kind of give us some context of how you're enjoying the series. Because I don't know what the big fans of Magic feel about this stuff. I know what we feel like, and I'm just always curious on that kind of stuff. Always like with this and Power Rangers, those kind of IP things. Just what are the real big fans thinking about this kind of stuff? So
I do know that the official Wizards of the Coast Magic wiki have the books as their own canon.
Yeah.
Which aligns very closely to the game itself, but they don't say, Wizards of the Coast doesn't say that everything is the same canon between the two. Particularly, for them, the comic books. They don't acknowledge that everything being done in the comic books is canon with everything that they have done with their cards.
Right, which is good. It gives McKay plenty of room to move around in.
Exactly. Yeah. Within, he still has strictures, but they're very broad. It seems so. All right, let's take a look at Boo Hoo, the last issue of Jim Henson's Storyteller Shapeshifters.
I could have sworn there was like more issues of this.
Issue 4.
And it says clearly 4 of 4 on the cover.
Right.
I was like, dang it.
And Chris, while I am talking about this, unless you want to, the Wikipedia/Boom Studios page, down at the bottom is a link to a listing of the titles. If you want to flip through those to refresh your memory.
Oh, has it got all of them?
It's probably got 90 to 95% of the titles.
Wow.
It
doesn't. I definitely would do that.
Like a lot of the titles that we have talked about in this volume of the show aren't on the list, it appears, that I can tell.
Well, that's fine.
But then, we know those. But yeah. So, okay. So this says
sorry.
Story. mute your mic.
Sorry.
The story is by Darren Bennett with art by Denny Pendergrast and some spot illustrations by Sonny Liu. Letters by Jim Campbell, and this is designed by Madison Goyette. For those of you new to the concept, the Storyteller it's based on a TV show originally by the Henson Studios. I forget what they call themselves, but it's Jim Henson's creations. And he at one time was asked to do a TV show revolving around a gentleman sitting in a nice fireplacey kind of warm, cuddly setting with his dog curled up at his feet, telling stories. The dog and the dude were Muppets. And this became an animated, and then it became the source for, this is like the 7th or 8th mini-series revolving around the Storyteller concept that Boom has done. Back 10 years or so, they've had had the IP, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's probably a little longer than that, but yeah, they've had it for a long time.
And so each mini-series has been around a type of a meme, right, for the stories. Most of them have been a type of creature. And the most recent, is about shapeshifters. Now, 3 of the 4 issues of Shapeshifters in particular have really, really struck me. This is one of those 3. I forget exactly which one it was, but one I just thought was good. The other 3 I have thought were excellent.
I think it was the first one because of the kids and the ducks.
Might have been.
Yeah.
So it seems to me, that this mini has gotten each, and I don't recall. I think they have done this every time with each of the installments under the meme being by a different creator, at least writer, if not
Yeah.
writer and artist.
Yeah.
This one seems each time the writer, for me, just put out a better story.
Oh, wow.
Better story, but for me, more entertaining, more captivating, more, whatever at the time I sat down to read, I was looking for. This was it. It's like, wow, that did it. So this one is about a shapeshifter. Now, interestingly enough, when I was in college, back, when we had to chink out markings in stone tablets with a mallet, and boy, when we went to the bookstore at the beginning of the semester, we bought some shit now.
Oh, for sure.
So the organic chemistry book, like this thick, that was 3 digits. Yeah. Okay. So I took a summer course on Belize. And part of that summer course was 2.5, almost 3 weeks in country, studying the biology of Belize, both the oceanic life, primarily the coral reef, which Belize has the second largest coral reef in the world behind Australia, which is funny to say because Australia is like many powers, magnitudes more shoreline than what Belize has as far as their coral reef, but
Right.
Belize still has the second largest in the world. Inland, at the time that I went, Belize was the only country in the world with a jaguar preserve as part of its national park system. More countries have gotten on board with that. We stayed at a resort at a place that was, oh man, I just lost the name of it, but it is now at the location of a major resort by that is owned by a major movie producer down there, and his name escapes me too. Turtle Cove, I believe, is the name of the resort. I stayed there when it was a educational research place. It got trashed in one of the subsequent hurricanes, and the gentleman that ran it had been doing it for a while. He was old, didn't want to redo it, so he sold it to, yeah, and it's become a big resort down there. Turtle Cove, Turtle Creek, something like that. So this tale is about a Belizean, and it's not just Belize, but it's Belizean folklore about this particular character, this creature. And I don't know if the pronunciation was here for me to get it right, but it is called a Sokoyant. Soucouyant, Sokoyant. But it's throughout the Caribbean, the northern countries in northern South America, many Central American countries, many Caribbean islands, and Belize is one of the Central American countries over here up above the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, if you don't know where Belize is. Next to Honduras, across, it's on the ocean side of San Salvador, which in the 80s was a very well-known Central American country here in the U.S. And it's folklore for that general area. And it's about a, doesn't have to be a female, but typically it is a female spirit that by day wears literally the skin of a female, whatever. There's many different nationalities in that area, so just pick one. And by night, she literally takes off that skin like a skinwalker would almost, or if you're familiar with the werewolves and lycanthrope mythologies, this is reminiscent of that. She takes that skin off, and she is this floating mass of fire, of lava, of light, energy, however you want to describe it. In this story, it's flame, but she's not just a ball. The artist depicts the creature in this story having, still maintaining some humanoid features. Definitely has which in my mind makes it scarier. A face has appendages that it can, get you with. So there's a mother and a daughter, and they're visiting the local shops, and they encounter an old woman plying her trade, doing her things. The rice is particularly important here, and it puts me in mind of another mythology also. Maybe it'll come to me. The little girl more than the mom notices the old woman. The old woman notices the little girl more than the mom. So automatically something's up. Little girl, the older woman gives the little girl kind of the heebie-jeebies, maybe on purpose, maybe not. The old woman's just over there doing her thing, singing some old folky song. It's kind of a scary song, but it's just, she's just minding her own business. The mom and the daughter go home, and the daughter overheard some of the lyrics from the old woman in the market and asks her mom, "What does this mean?" Well, her mom had been exposed to the stories about the creature that the old woman was singing about from her mother. So here's an opportunity for the oral tradition to go from grandmother to mother to daughter, which I thought was well illustrated. I thought it made a pretty picture that the opportunity was there for her mom to tell her daughter about something that she enjoyed about her mother. So she relays the story about this creature that they call her Heg, old Heg, Heg. And it's this mythology about the Sokoyant, and only it's not it's told from that particular family's Belizeans. Oh, I'm sorry, Ricardo. I'm talking about Jim Henson's The Storytellers, Shapeshifters, that issue 4, and because there's a wider mythology about the creature, but so where this story is really limiting it to this family's in Belize, their understanding of the creature, and she tells her daughter about it, and her daughter is appropriately scared. Later that night, the daughter encounters something. We have a break in the story, where the dog, who is, I think the dog is our point of view, and not that we're all dogs, but you know what I mean. And we then get back into the story, and we see that the old woman is this creature. She encounters the family has an encounter with her, and the mother and daughter keep going to the market, and I don't necessarily know that the daughter, maybe she notices, she may not be old enough to really notice, but we notice that each time they encounter the old woman, she's less older, she's getting younger. On the other side, her mother is getting older. Now the girl knows that somehow, some way, this creature, who she assumes correctly is the old woman in the market, is preying on her mother, and that's Prey, praying. But she doesn't know for sure. She can't manage to stay awake at night long enough to see it happen. But she feels, she knows it's happening. Ultimately, a doctor comes in. The mom feels bad enough that she seeks medical advice. The daughter, in trying to help her mom, finds the old folklorish way of dealing with the creature. And so in the end, we see the little girl taking care of her mom by battling the creature in this old folklorish method. And there is a culmination to the story. Definitely pick up the book so you can see who wins and how. and what the method of fighting this creature was and everything like that. But it was, I, I don't remember too much about the other miniseries. I've read them, but they didn't captivate me like this one has. The the interpretation of the word shapeshifter in several of these stories seems a bit looser than I would assume.
Right.
This story, as well as one of the previous three, I okay. I guess if you strictly take this set of of letters and put them together in the English language, then what is occurring qualifies. Overall, the concept that a lot of us have, and in this case, me in particular, of what a shapeshifter is, I don't know that this creature necessarily fits that mold. But that's kind of a semantic argument rather than
Right.
But it's like when you say rock, some people will interpret Mount Everest as a rock. Some people will say that a beach is made up of a whole bunch of little tiny rocks. Me, I don't believe that either one of those is a rock. My definition of a rock is something else. So I can't say that sand and Mount Everest is wrong. Perhaps it's just a matter of perspective, to be honest. But it's that kind of thing. Several of these shapeshifter stories, I've just been like, changing into cattails on the edge of a
Right. Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay,
They changed.
their shape did shift. I would call it a big rock with snow on it. Well, yeah, that is one definition, certainly. So I enjoyed it. I'm sad to see this series go. This was always, even though this maybe you'd be hard pressed to describe this as a lighter story.
Right.
These stories have always been lighter for me than Grimm or Maul or
Mm-hmm.
Alice Ever After or something is reading all these things. Shapeshifters has been lighter fare
Oh, for
in my
sure. Yeah.
mind. So I've enjoyed that. And, I guess I'll take a month or maybe two break, and then Wind will be that. Well, maybe
Right.
not. I don't know. Maybe Wind will become that lighter break. And although by the end of that second volume, it was pretty
That was not
heavy.
light. Yeah, that was
No,
not light
it
at
was,
all.
yeah. So the first volume would have been light compared, but yeah, that second volume kind of.
Mm,
So yeah, so that's my thoughts on Shapeshifters.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed this miniseries a lot. I think that I do agree that I think they've sort of progressively gotten a little bit better. This one's written by Darren Bennett, who is a letterer. Isn't that the And World design guy?
I think so.
So I don't know what else he's written before. So I was, as soon as I saw his name in the credits, opening the book up, I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see what this is about. So I do think it was, pretty well paced, and the whole structure to it was done well. The art in it was a little, it was different, but it was still real, still real good. Um, it just, I don't think for me this probably wasn't the strongest of the of the four, but I still think it was really good. I mean, it's kind of like saying we've done this in the past. It's like, when everything's a 6 or a 7 and you say, oh, it was,
Yeah, really. It's like,
yeah, it's
well, it
like
was better, but
it was, yeah,
yeah.
it's better. It was when they're all better than average. Yeah. So
Which even, I try not to even say better. I
right, yeah,
try to keep it with me. I
yeah,
enjoyed this
yeah.
more, that more, because better, it's like, well, yeah, it's like
How did
I,
you get qualifications to say
I
that?
read them all, so
Right.
obviously I didn't dislike them,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So yeah, but I do think it was a good way, a good issue to end the series on. So hopefully they'll. We haven't gotten a solicitations for another storyteller, so
It'll be a little while.
hopefully we'll get one in the next couple months. So.
Yeah, probably by the end of the year, start another volume up.
Yeah.
So, Chris,
All
walk
right.
us through Once in Future.
Oh my
Man.
goodness.
Walk
So Once in
us through
Future
this.
number 26, written by Karen Gillan, illustrated by Dan Mora, colored by Tamara Bonavillin, who is awesome, lettered by Ed Dukeshire, who is also awesome. And then designed by Madison Goyette, who is also awesome because Madison has been editing or designing stuff. I was looking at Daphne Pleben as the editor, who is also awesome. But both of them have been there forever. So
Yep.
they've found nice homes at Boom. So so this issue, if you follow me on Twitter, this is one of those issues I pointed out because Boom made a comment about it and shared something about it. And I have said it in the past. This is probably one of my favorite books that are on the shelf right now, if not my favorite. This issue, even though it says it's issue 26, I feel like is a pretty good issue to sort of ease you in. It's not a great starting point. I definitely feel like there's a lot of groundwork that you can pick up on by reading previous issues, but I do think there's a lot that goes on in the conversations because there's not a ton of action in this. It's again another sort of talking heads issue. A lot of time passes, as we've learned with Sherwood Forest. Time passes quickly there, depending on how you walk through it and what the trees do and whatnot. So basically what, 6 months go by or a little bit more
at least, yeah,
in this where the issue opens up with the Green Knight sort of like, hey, I'll be back in a year, and so Rose is obviously a little worried because she's had her attempt and he's coming in a year for his attempt. And so when this issue sort of time jumped as quickly as it did, and we do get little recaps of things that had happened along the way, it made me feel like, we want to. Karen Gillan is trying to get us to that point, that conflict, sooner than later, and we're not going to wait 6 or 8 issues for that to happen. It's probably going to happen in the next issue or two, and there's reasons for that. I don't know what they are, but we'll see. I do feel like this particular issue, I just felt like we were coming toward the conclusion of the series as a whole. I don't think the series is one of those infinite ongoing series. I do think there is an end goal. I don't know what it is, but I do feel like some seeds were put in this issue. Just personally, having just read everything about the series, I do feel like some seeds are being planted for whatever that end game is. One being sort of this fast pace, time that we've gotten in this particular issue. Gran having a plan and actually sharing the plan, and it makes sense to everybody. It's not just some bizarre like, oh, we're going to do the thing there. We're going to go talk to so and so who none of you know who that is, and there's no rhyme. There's no riddle that everybody else has to solve. It's just like, okay, here's what we're going to do, and it makes sense. It doesn't seem too far-fetched, other than the fact that hey, we're going to change the course of a river at hell. Other than that, but there's a reason for it, so we'll see how that kind of works out. But overall, I think it's a pretty good issue, well paced. I do think the even though with the time jumps and stuff like that, I do think we're still getting those character moments that we need for the series. And we get, obviously, Robin Hood is now sort of they're part of Robin Hood's Merry Men now. So one of the key things of sort of the whole sort of point of their mission, what it is right now, is trying to get rid of Arthur has brought down or put the world into Otherworld. And so the theory is, as long as everyone on Earth believes that there's no hope to fix this, then it never will be fixed. And eventually, the Arthurs will battle things out, and one will finally win, and then who knows what they'll end up doing to the world because of it. And so the point of Robin Hood is just keeping them at bay, keeping them busy with not only each other but with him. And so, and part of Grand's plan is to, or the grand plan is to use, this particular river in hell that is known to make people forget. And so having that river not just flow through hell but flow through otherworld, therefore making everyone forget that otherworld exists, and in doing so will make otherworld disappear, basically go back, and to where it belongs. But it will also cause everyone, to forget, including our lead characters. So the plan sounds feasible enough. Everyone seems to be on board with it, and things are going according to plan. Sort of a side story is what, if we go back to the Grail Castle, we've got Bridget there trying to Bridget was our main villain at the beginning of the series, and she was very formidable and everything. And I feel like everything got taken away from her, and now she's almost bumbling at this point. Like it's sheer desperation in that she's acting now. And so she's trying to use the townspeople that are in the Grail Castle that Gran left there, to sort of, to do things people in the real world need to take the place of key characters in a story in order to make that story happen. And so she's trying to make these people believe that they're, different characters in these stories, and can't, these people are like, sure, we'll play along, but they don't believe that they're those people. And so nothing's really going to happen. So it's interesting that she's sort of, I don't want to say been reduced to this, but that's sort of the desperate act that she's in right now. So I'm kind of curious as this sort of gets further along, as we're sort of, again, not knowing that the series is going to end anytime soon, but kind of feeling like we're definitely getting toward that. What her role in it is going to be. Is she going to continue to be the, part of the, I say she's a villain at this point, but she's just sort of a thorn in everybody's side right now. Is she going to continue to do that, or is it going to get, she can become more villainous, or is she going to get what she's looking for, or, is she somehow going to control one of the Arthurs? Who knows? We'll find out. Hopefully we'll find out. But the issue ends kind of interesting because Grant is sort of saying, as long as this is happening here and this is happening here, and as long as Robin Hood doesn't have, because currently he doesn't have a true King of England to follow behind, because he knows that these Arthurs, even though they say they're the King of England, they're not his vision of what the true king is, and so he's against them. So until he finds a true king to follow, he'll continue to thwart them every attempt that he gets. The Grant explains this while we the reader are getting sort of a sort of behind the scenes, that I'm assuming that's Excalibur that shows up out of nowhere.
That's what I would assume.
And says that, he who pulls this, will be the true King of England. That makes it out to be Excalibur. So is there another true king?
Yeah, I was going to say, so does that mean there'll be a third king?
Yeah, is there a third king, or one of the other Arthur's going to pull this and be the true king?
Right.
Who knows? Is Rose going to pull it in order to defend herself against the Green Knight? That's way out there. But it's, whoever's going to pull it is going to be the king, and that's who Robin's going to follow. What does that mean for the bigger story? I don't know. We'll find out. Is that going to happen next issue? Don't know. But that issue, this issue ended, sort of made me go, okay, we're getting toward that end.
Mm-hmm.
This has got to be the whole point of it, is who the true king is. So again, just I'm still enjoying this book. Still think it's great. Dan Moore's art is amazing. It just I'm amazed at the amount of work that this guy can crank out. Like I don't know how far ahead he is on this series, but I know he's also doing World's Finest at DC with Mark Waid. He's doing a lot of cover work for multiple publishers. I mean, he's at least got 2 or 3 covers that Boom has every month. Uh, so, he is sort of on a Mark Bagley Ultimate Spider-Man sort of mode right now, where he is probably cranking out, a page or 2 a day. It seems like, but I'm all here for it for as long as it lasts. I'm here for it. So, um, got any thoughts on it?
Just what you said.
I mean, it's a lot going on. It continue. I do feel like this series is continuing to get a little more out of reach for folks if you've not been reading the series.
If you were just to pick up that issue, and it's.
But I do feel like this issue gives you enough little bits and pieces to kind of latch on a little bit to what's going on. But I do think that you're going to need to go back and read this series from the beginning. You're only going to get the.
But it'll be a good read, yeah.
Oh, it'll be definitely a good read. I'm looking forward to going back here. I mean, we're at 26 now. I'm well interested in just kind of going back and reading the first 25 issues again. So let's see if I can carve out some time.
There you go.
So,
okay, so now I narrowed it down to 10. So I'm going to give 5.
Let me highlight
and then
this.
you can give 5, and I'll give 5. No explanations as to why. No explanations about it.
Gotcha.
If Richado wants to know, tweet us, email us, or join the forums at justanotherfanboy.freeforums.net and go to the the Boom Addiction board, and we can start a conversation there. That way we have more time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
We're already over 2 hours here. So these books, this is another hour to hour and a half discussion just all by itself.
For sure.
So here is my second top 5.
Okay.
Mouse Guard.
Yep.
Heavy Vinyl.
Oh, wow.
Potter's Field.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Cloaks.
Oh, yeah.
And Lumberjanes.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's a no-brainer.
Okay.
For you, definitely. That's a no-brainer.
I love Lumberjanes.
You said your second top 5. I mean, that's a little hard for me to.
Well, no, really... just do your top 5, because I've got another 5 set up here ready to go.
Well, I mean, obvious ones. I mean, and I can do another set of 5 too. But the obvious set for me, Once and Future. I mean, obviously, big fan of that. Something is Killing. I mean, even though it's a new series, yes. Basilisk. As far as new stuff goes. I did thoroughly enjoy. I'm trying to think back and kind of go through this list, dude. Curse, that miniseries, I still say is one of my favorite miniseries ever, as far as like a horror miniseries. Mm-hmm. It really wasn't horror, just a werewolf. But that's a really good miniseries. Let's see what else here. Evil Empire was great. It was a 12-issue series.
Okay.
That's 5 there. So go ahead. What's your other 5?
All right. My top 5. Wind.
Oh, for sure.
Basilisk would be in mine also. Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes.
The first half or so of that.
Okay.
Black Badge.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And now this is a cheat, but it will keep you reading for a while. The Muppet books.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so and these two books go hand in hand, Irredeemable and Corruptible.
Yes.
Incorruptible.
Irredeemable and incorruptible.
Definitely
Yes.
read Irredeemable first, and Incorruptible after that. But definitely, you can't go wrong with those. That's Mark Waid at its best. Talent is a great miniseries.
Mm.
I'm 100% with you with Potter's Field. And then oh gosh, just like one more Left on Mission
Oh,
is
okay.
one that was done. That was written by Chip Mosier, and he worked at Boom at the time.
So, Machado, being new to collecting, man, there is plenty of Boom stuff to keep you busy.
Oh, for sure.
Stuff all over the board: horror, adventure, action, police procedural, uh, sidewalk, everyday man, humor, funny animals. Uh, there's straight. There's a lot of, if not queer characters, then queer talent in there. So those books that we named just run the gambit of what Boom has done. Any one of those books, we could find for you 2 or 3 or 4 other series just like that one that they have done as well. So I mean, each of these is their own thing, but they do relate in feel and style to any number of other things that Boom has done.
Yep.
But if I don't know if you're still here now, if you listen to the podcast, write these down, do a little bit of research, and see one of them has got to feel right to you.
Yep.
Check it out. Get the trade, get the collected edition, read it. And if you do in the future, let us know what you thought. It'd be cool to know that we recommended something that you did enjoy. If you didn't enjoy it, save our egos and don't ever tell us that you didn't like it.
That'll make us feel better.
I mean, you don't have to like it, definitely, but if you don't tell me that my recommendation sucked. I'd hate to hear that. So
yeah, totally.
Those are my ideas.
All right, let's get out of here because it's been, like I said, 2 hours. Good show. Didn't think we'd go this long, but good feedback. Appreciate Richard, all the questions and everything. That definitely we enjoy talking about that stuff. But definitely go hit us up on Twitter. Go over to the forums and talk about ask us stuff there. Ed's there way more than I am, but I definitely will eventually get over there. I try. Doug is correct. Many deaths of Layla Starr.
Oh yes, there's another one. Yes,
Eisner Award nominee.
There's just so many. And this was quick. I am not 100% satisfied with the 5 I gave you. I'm not unhappy with them, but I would need much more time to truly figure out my 5 favorite Boom things.
Those, definitely just off the top of our heads. Yeah. Looking through that list, I was like, oh, it's too many. So come by the show or come by the website. It is comicaddiction.net or boomaddiction.com. 2 doors, same house. Go in there. You can come by, check us out on Twitter at boomaddiction. Ed's at Teal Productions. I'm at Chris Parton. You can come by obviously YouTube. We do it every Thursday night, or most Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not sure if we're going to actually do the show, tweet one of us, and we'll let you know if we are or not.
We can let you know.
We'll definitely, but we love having everybody on board. It would be great if we had more folks in the chat, so you guys could ask your questions, and I bet you $1 someone in the chat will have an answer.
Yeah, you guys spread the word. If you know anybody that likes comics, that likes YouTube, that likes Boom, let them know. Let's get more people in the comments, and you guys talking back and forth as well as just talking to us.
So you can email us at boomaddiction@gmail.com. Keep in mind the giveaway for the Grim #1 second print. You have to email me and just let me know that you didn't get a copy of the first issue, either the first print or the second print, and then we will randomly select someone to send that copy to. So more information about that at next episode when we actually do the thing. So you got to get your emails in for the 9th. We do record at 9 p.m. So you got to get in, say, like noon on the 9th. That'd be the easiest, just so I can sort of put everything together. So come by our Facebook page if you're on Facebook, fans of Boom Studios. Ed posts lots of news and links and previews and things like that to all to Boom and to other sites and stuff like that, interviews and things like that, just so that all of you are be able to check out just various information about the Boom stuff and the Boom news and everything, and the creative teams that are working on all these books, which is a great resource. So hopefully you're checking that stuff out. And then our forums over at
just another fanboy.freeforums.net.
And if you will send me that link, I will put that in the show notes because I keep forgetting to write it down. I have it in a tweet or a DM that I have to scroll up to and click on. So I haven't put it in my favorite chat. I'm okay. A moron. So let's see. I think that's basically that's everything. You can catch us on all the podcast things and whatnot. And cool. We appreciate everybody for listening. As always, we'll be back next week with episode 41. The road to 100 continues. So, Ed, as always, thanks for joining me.
Yes, sir.
We will catch all of you next week. Goodbye.
Ciao.